All right, everyone, we are done with week one here of demo at the bank. Whenever I start a demo project, the first thing that I usually want to think about is there anything that I want to keep that I want to use when we're done with the project or reuse on other projects. So with this one here, when we went through the walkthrough, you saw a lot of like the really nice fine detailed woodwork, as well as just so many like windows and glass panes that I wanted to reuse. So the first thing we did is took down all of that delicate woodwork. Next, we took down all those windows because what I eventually want to do is either build some sliding barn doors with that glass, reinsert some of those windows into the bedrooms, just so that way we can bring more natural light from the windows into the main living spaces. Then after those were out and all the delicate items were out, then we started tearing out the carpet. It's much easier to sweep plywood floors when you don't have carpet down. Here, once we did get the carpet out, there was a lot of residue underneath the carpet. So some places it had tack strips along the walls and it wasn't glued to the floor. Other places it was glued to the floor. So we did rent a carpet stripper, which is worth their weight in gold. I 100% highly recommend them. They're like $100 for the entire day. Another few recommendations I have: if you are pulling carpet up that is glued, I'd recommend getting a couple of vice grips, one person on one end, one person on another end, as well as cutting it into manageable strips. So once we did have all the carpet out of here, next we did start getting at the drywall. If you do leave some of the power on, when you are removing drywall, I recommend don't use a saw. Just take a hammer, pound holes through the drywall. You can get your hands in there, you can remove it. That way you can still have things that are powered on, like air compressors or air filtration systems, which we had in this project. If you have enough light and you don't need any power, just 100% cut the power to all of the outlets. Go and get a power sensing stick, sometimes called a beep stick. That way you can test different circuits and lines just to make sure everything is powered down. This building is kind of unique where we had separate sub panels, so we could power them down upstairs here, as well as we did power them down downstairs. We checked all the wires and made sure that they weren't on, so that way we could demo safely here. Then once we got a lot of the drywall removed, next we started tearing down the drop ceiling. We didn't really want to keep any of this, so we weren't super delicate with it. We just made sure that as we started getting near like light fixtures and outlets and other like HVAC things up in the ceiling and in different rooms, we were just careful to make sure we didn't rip down any of those wires. Then once we did get done with the drop ceiling, then we started ripping out different conduit and wire that we do want to keep just to save money on this project. Any wire that was more than 10 or 15 feet we can definitely use for separate runs for light switches and things like that. So we put all that aside. Same thing with the conduit. We're trying to save as much of that as possible. And we kind of had to stop demo on this project for the week because we did fill our dumpster. They're kind of hard to get here on a short notice here in the Madison area because there's a lot of demo and renovations going on, so we can't get our next one until next week. So we did what we could and demoed as much as we could, and we started just making organization piles so that way when our next dumpster comes here in a few days, we can just easily get the rest of this out, finish demoing all the drywall, finish ripping down all of the extra wires that we need. One of the unique things about this property is that it does have a fire alarm system in it. Just kind of be aware of different systems that are in buildings as you are taking them down. We will want to reuse the fire alarm system up here. But otherwise, once we're done demoing, we'll clean everything up and then we'll start ready to take mortar off of the brick wall and then also start framing up and get ready for rough-in. All right, thanks for joining us this week on Flipping the Bank. Hope you guys enjoyed it. As always, to keep updates with this, smash that like button, make sure to subscribe, or as always, if you do have questions or anything that you need real estate help here in the Madison area, call or text 608-299-7450. I look forward to seeing you guys on our next episode as we continue to flip this bank, turn it into 2 condos, and get that coffee shop downstairs. Until next time, take care.